You're on Red Hunt, and this next story really tests the limits of patience. I am an 18-year-old female freshman in college, and my best friend, who is a 21-year-old female junior, was excited about her upcoming birthday. We discussed her plans to celebrate at a restaurant she loved, and she wanted all her best friends to be there, especially me. Her birthday was on a Thursday, but I had classes all day until around 7 p.m., and I also had a significant amount of math homework to complete. Although I care for her, my homework had to take priority. After finishing my classes, she asked me to go to the grocery store with her, and afterward I spent the rest of the night doing homework. I thought we would have a chance to celebrate at her party. That weekend, her boyfriend visited, so I left her alone for the most part. I had kept my weekend free for her party, and I had chosen a thoughtful gift, wrapped it with a ribbon to make it extra special, and selected an outfit. On Friday evening, I started to wonder when her party would take place. I went to find her, but one of our other roommates informed me that she had gone to dinner with her boyfriend. I decided to text her to ask where she went to eat, which is something we often do. I discovered she went to the same restaurant she had mentioned for her birthday party, and I was deeply upset. A few days later, I left for a school trip that had a heavy emotional impact due to its sad history. While I was away, Leah posted about her birthday party on Instagram, and it featured all of her other friends. I texted her about it, and she explained that she did not want me there because she prefers not to mix friends. This response hurt me, as it suggested she was worried about something negative happening. After taking a day to process my feelings, I expressed to her that I wished she had communicated her feelings about my attendance beforehand. I also mentioned that while she calls me her best friend, her actions made me feel otherwise. She responded by saying she did not want me to be overly sensitive and that she was concerned I might misinterpret things her friends said. However, she emphasized that it was special for us to hang out on her birthday when we went grocery shopping together. This response also hurt me, and I needed more time to process everything. She sent additional texts trying to communicate. When I returned from my trip, I was exhausted after spending 15 hours traveling and wanted to rest. I went to my room and later ran into a few other roommates in the bathroom, where our conversation remained superficial. Leah was in the room, but I chose not to acknowledge her because I did not want to initiate a serious conversation while I was extremely tired. When I returned to my room, I received a text from her that read, "So are we not friends anymore?" I asked her to come to my room, and she entered in tears. She expressed that I talked to our other roommates but not to her, which made her feel insignificant. She continued by explaining how my actions had affected her negatively. I apologized and reassured her that we were still friends. So, am I in the wrong for ignoring her after not responding to her texts? Real talk, it's wild how she made you feel bad for talking to your other roommates, right? I mean, she had all her friends at her party, and you weren't even invited. That really shows how self-centered she is. You deserve friends who actually care about your feelings, not someone who guilt trips you like that. Honestly, her crying about your conversations. That's just manipulative, especially when she clearly didn't consider your feelings by leaving you out. It's such a double standard when she can brush you off but expects you to tiptoe around her. Seriously, why would you want to stick around someone who treats you like this? You're not the problem here, she is. You shouldn't feel like the bad guy in this whole mess. If she can't respect you, it's definitely time to rethink that friendship. Just remember, you deserve so much better than this kind of drama. Would I be the jerk if I took my parents' cats? A few years ago, my mother adopted a cat from Craigslist. She had the cat for about a year and a half. When the cat began urinating outside the litter box, I suggested that it might have a urinary tract infection, which is a common issue that can lead to such behavior. A week later, I asked my brother, who lives nearby, to take the cat to the veterinarian, and I offered to cover the costs. However, when he visited our mother, he discovered that she had already surrendered the cat to a shelter. She described the cat as aggressive, although it was not. Unfortunately, we were too late, and the cat was euthanized. A few weeks later, my mother brought home a pregnant cat from a garage sale, fully aware of the cat's condition. She lives in a small apartment and struggles to take care of herself. After the kittens were born, my mother visited my aunt and instructed my brother to manage the situation. He successfully found homes for all but one of the kittens and the mother cat, both of whom my mother still keeps. However, she is unable to care for them. She cannot even clean the litter box. She frequently calls emergency services to help her get up or locate the television remote. Remarkably, the cats have not escaped. Additionally, she has difficulty managing her own hygiene and expects my brother to assist her. She even expressed to my niece that she intended to harm herself if my niece did not help her find the remote. You have tried various ways to assist her. She had a home health aide, but she was removed from that service. We found a suitable nursing home for her, but she left after just 3 days because she was not provided with her own room, which cost me $3,000. At one point, she claimed she had 3 months to live, prompting me to drop everything and go help her during that time. During my stay, I became attached to the 2 cats. While she's very ill, she's not terminally ill. Currently, she is in a rehabilitation facility focused on physical recovery, not addiction. She expresses a desire to remain there, but has stated that she will leave if they do not provide her with her own room and better television channels. She has not even inquired about the cats. My brother is nearing a nervous breakdown and has asked me to come and take the cats home with me, which is 2,000 miles away. I want to help. I love those cats and can provide them with a good home. I worry that they may not be adopted where they are, and I want to keep them together as they are very bonded. I plan to fly down, rent a car, and drive them home. While this is not an ideal solution, I am uncertain what else to do. It seems clear that my mother is only concerned about herself, with little regard for her children, grandchildren, or the cats. Alright, you did the right thing. Definitely take the cats. Just check with the airline about bringing them on the plane, whether in cargo or in the cabin. If the train is an option, that could work too. I mean, it's tough dealing with a hard-headed parent. Sometimes, despite our best efforts, they just won't change. It's important for you and your brother to remember that you've done what you can. He doesn't have to bear the weight of her choices, you know. Finding an elder care social worker could really help you both navigate this situation better. And honestly, getting the cats out of there is one less thing for your brother to worry about. They deserve a good home, especially if your mom isn't willing to care for them. Am I the jerk for telling my parent they should have informed us about their wedding? I am genuinely happy for my father, but something happened recently that has left me feeling really strange, and I am not sure if I am overreacting. Last night, we attended what we were told was a birthday party for his now wife. Everything seemed normal until partway through the evening when it was revealed that the party was actually a surprise wedding. They got married on the spot with an efficient present. None of us children had any idea this was going to happen. This includes me, my sister who is 23 years old, and my 2 brothers who are 24 years old and 21 years old. At first I was shocked but genuinely happy for him. Then I noticed my sister was visibly upset, and in that moment I realized why this hit so hard. Our mother passed away in 2017 after a long and painful battle with brain cancer. She had a tumor on her optic nerve before I was even born, which eventually spread. She went blind and ultimately passed away. Her death has continued to impact us deeply, even now. What made it even harder back then was that our father started seeing someone new less than 3 months after our mother passed away. That person is the same woman he just married. Over time, we have come to accept their relationship. I actually care about her a lot, and she has been good to us. This is not about disliking her. What really hurt was the fact that we were not informed in advance. There was no heads up, no conversation, and no opportunity to prepare ourselves emotionally. Suddenly, we were in the middle of a wedding ceremony surrounded by people we barely knew, being asked to process something very personal and emotional while putting on a happy face. His side of the family seemed genuinely upset that my siblings and I were distant at the ceremony, but no one ensured that we would be able to participate meaningfully. My father does not seem to understand why we were so thrown off. He said it was not meant to be a big deal, but to us, it was significant. Everyone continued to question us, bringing up our mother and how difficult it must be, even people we did not know. It felt like we were left out of something that, while his choice still directly affects our family. He was upset that we ruined his night, but we were trying not to make it a big deal. Complete strangers made it a big deal. It spread quickly. We were not given the chance to show up as his children in a meaningful way. We were just kind of there like guests at someone else's celebration. So, am I wrong for feeling hurt about how my father chose to get married? You did nothing wrong. I mean, it's wild how they thought a surprise wedding was the best move, especially without telling you or your siblings. You all were totally caught off guard, and honestly, it makes sense that emotions ran high. It's tough when you're still processing your mom's absence and then this happens. Your dad really needs to step back and see how this affects the family. It feels like he went from including you in the engagement to completely shutting you out for the wedding. That's a big change, and it makes sense why you'd be feeling a certain way. Sure, others might have missed how you all felt, but that doesn't mean it's not valid. It sounds like so much to deal with, especially when you were just trying to support your sister. Just know that your feelings matter, and it's okay to take your time with this. Am I the jerk for helping a friend through a tough time? I am an 18-year-old male and have a close childhood friend who is an 18-year-old female. She was recently fired and lost her house, so she has been staying with me until she can get back on her feet. I want to clarify that we are strictly friends. Our parents grew up together and we have known each other our entire lives. We have never considered being in a romantic relationship. My friend has been living with me for the past few months. During this time, she has been looking for jobs and low-income housing. She helps me around the house but mostly focuses on her own tasks while I handle mine. Yesterday, my mother visited the area to see her friend who lives nearby. She planned to stay with me, which I was fine with. However, when she walked into my house and saw my friend in the living room, she became upset. My mother yelled at me, making comments such as that my friend should not rely on me every time something goes wrong and that it is not acceptable for us to live together. After her outburst, she left and my friend started to cry. Instead of calling my mother to explain or calm her down, I chose to comfort my friend. Later, I received a message from my mother stating that I was no longer her son as long as my friend remained at my house. I did not inform my friend about this message as I did not want to stress her out further. I simply replied okay and went about my day. I do not understand why my mother is so angry about my friend staying here. My friend has stayed at my mother's house in the past without any issues. Perhaps my friend's mother said something to my mother. Maybe my mother just wanted to spend time with me. It is also possible that she suspected my friend and I were romantically involved but never addressed it. Those are some thoughts that have crossed my mind. Regardless, my friend is still staying with me. Nothing will change that unless she finds a job and a place to live, which will not cause any issues. I am wondering if I am in the wrong in this situation. Additionally, I did attempt to explain the situation to my mother, but she was unyielding. Honestly, it sounds like you're not the jerk here, but wow, your mom's response is pretty wild. I mean, there's definitely some drama going on with your friend's family that you might not even know about. Maybe her mom is feeling a certain way about her leaving home, and that's getting projected onto you. Your mom might have her own ideas about what's really happening, and honestly, it seems like she's really overreacting to the whole situation. When she said she shouldn't go running to you, it kind of feels like this isn't the first time something like this has popped up. If your friend has a habit of leaning on you for support, that could be why your mom is worried. It might help to chat with her, to get her side of things better. She may have some information that you don't. Just approach it as a conversation, not a conflict. In the end, you're doing the right thing by helping your friend out until she gets back on her feet. That's what friends are for, right? Am I the jerk for not forgiving my FIL to keep the peace? I have no respect for and despise my father-in-law. I have been married to my wife for 4 years, and we have been together for 7. From the beginning, my father-in-law was standoffish towards me. While he was not openly hostile, it was clear he was not a fan of mine. I later discovered that he did not like me because I do not fit the mold of his other 2 brothers-in-law. My father-in-law would often offer financial help to his daughters without them asking for it. My wife and I consistently declined his assistance because we were managing fine. This remained true until the COVID-19 pandemic hit, which led to my wife being laid off. I was the only one working during that time, and we struggled to make ends meet, missing 2 rent payments and ultimately having to ask family for help. My father-in-law called us lazy and refused to assist us. Eventually, we recovered, but the following year, our landlord sold the property we were renting. We approached my father-in-law to borrow his holiday house for 6 months, offering to pay rent while we searched for a new place, as he had previously offered this option. He refused and went on a tirade about how we were lazy and financially irresponsible, claiming that he wasn't made of money. This was the final straw for me. To be called lazy when my wife and I were each working 40 hours a week before the pandemic, and I was working 60 hours a week across 2 jobs during the pandemic, was infuriating. We had never asked for help unless we were completely desperate. My father-in-law earns a 6-figure salary, owns 2 houses in a different area, bought his holiday house near us without seeing it first, and visits several times a year. Yet he complains about being financially constrained while constantly giving money to his other 2 daughters. All of this, along with several other grievances, has led me to refuse to engage with my father-in-law and actively avoid him whenever he is around. Personally, I feel like confronting him for his treatment of us, but I refrain from escalating the situation for my wife's sake. It has been a few years now, and this issue has become a sore spot in my marriage. My wife understands not to force me to attend events where my father-in-law is present and respects my feelings. However, she brings up the possibility of reconciliation every time he visits the area. I tell her I am not interested in reconciliation, but if he ever decides to speak to me man-to-man, I would be open to moving towards civil tolerance, though not friendship. Though the door is not completely closed. The thing is, he is fully aware of my feelings. A few years ago, he asked my wife why I was so hostile towards him, and she told him that if he wanted to know and fix things, he should talk to me. However, he has not made any attempt to speak to me and prefers to ignore the issue. Now, years later, my wife is asking if I could simply make peace and move on, which I refuse to do, but she does not push the matter further. Hey, big facts here, you didn't do anything wrong. You totally have the right to choose who's in your life, and honestly, it sounds like your father-in-law is crossing some lines. It's just not fair for your wife to ask you to make peace when there's clear disrespect going on. I mean, if your FIL went from offering help to refusing it when you really needed him, that's a red flag, right? Your wife seems to want things to change, but she really needs to support you in addressing this situation first. It's tough when one partner feels stuck between family and their spouse. Couples counseling could be a good idea to work through this together. Change won't just happen on its own, and ignoring it will only make things worse. Your wife should definitely stand by you and not enable that disrespect. Just make sure to communicate and figure out how to tackle this together. Am I the jerk for messing up my partner in a game and asking a lot of them? My boyfriend, who is 20 years old, and I, a 19-year-old female, have been together for 2 years and have lived together for 6 months. I am currently in college and work part-time. My boyfriend works full-time and earns a little more than I do, so he pays slightly more for rent and other expenses while I cover my college costs. About a week ago, my boyfriend had a day off while I had classes and a final in the morning, followed by an 8-hour shift at work. My car is quite old and had broken down, so I needed to take the bus that day. I asked my boyfriend if he could pick me up from work since he was free, but he expressed that he did not want to go out late on his day off just to take me home. I explained that walking to and from the bus stops would be difficult, especially since I was on my period, and I felt unsafe taking the bus home at night. He insisted that I would be fine, so I ended up taking the bus, which made me upset. After a long and exhausting day at work where I faced several challenges, I returned home and lay down in bed. My boyfriend was next to me playing video games while I scrolled on my phone. My feet were hurting from standing all day, so I asked him to fill my water bottle for me. He made a face and told me to do it myself, which added to my frustration, but I did not say anything at that moment. A few minutes later, I felt my cramps intensify and cried out in pain. My boyfriend turned to look at me, causing his headphones to fall off. He became frustrated when he lost a game round due to the distraction and yelled in anger. I apologized, but he continued to express his irritation. I started crying and he called me a bitch and a crybaby, which only made me cry more. I tried to explain that I did not mean to disrupt him, but he left the room and we became distant afterward. I have been preoccupied with my finals since then, but I keep reflecting on the situation. I feel guilty and wonder if I am being overly sensitive. Writing this post is making me question whether I am overreacting. Honestly, you were way out of line for making up this story. I mean, it's pretty clear that most people can see right through it, and even chatbots flagged it as suspicious. If you're trying to get sympathy, it's just not working. Yeah, he really doesn't seem ready for a relationship if he's reacting like that. You're both young, and honestly, this could end for so many reasons. If he called you a bitch for crying, that's just not okay. Cramps are rough, and he should definitely be more understanding. Seriously, he needs better headphones if he can't notice your pain. So pump the brakes and really think about whether this is worth your time. You deserve way better than that. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.